questions.
Well, I'm sure it's been exciting finally being back out on the court this last week. Could you start off with what it's been like to be playing games finally again?
Yeah, I'm really grateful that we get the opportunity to play, especially during this year. It's hard to know what to expect with everything changing, but yeah, it's been really fun getting back on the court with the team.
And it's been a pretty hot start for you individually too. What's that been like?
It's been pretty good. A lot of the help comes from the team. They definitely instill confidence in me and find the open person, and also the coaching staff has done a good job at giving me confidence and helping me prepare for games. So that definitely has been a big part of that.
Were you kind of thinking you were going to need to take a step forward this year? Obviously, with the losses you guys had, was there a thought that there'd be a little bit more on your shoulders?
Yeah, especially because the seniors last year were amazing, great leadership, and we have great upperclassmen too this year. So we'd all have to play a role this year and contribute. But yeah, I think we've been doing a good job of that.
Jessie, have you looked at UW Stout yet on tape?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of their recent games and they've been playing really well. They're definitely solid this year. They were last year too. So it'll be a good matchup for us this week.
What stands out about the tape you've seen?
Well, from what I've seen, they definitely have quick guards. They have shooters. Their posts have been pretty solid as well. They play a high tempo game, kind of similar to us. So I think it'll be a good matchup, and yeah, I think it'll be fun overall.
Is it nice to be able to look at tape this week versus last week you didn't really have anything fresh to go off?
Yeah, that definitely has been helpful. Just kind of helping us know more what to look for, and we'll definitely keep preparing and get ready for Wednesday and Friday.
What did you learn last week about the home and home? Did you take anything away from the road trip, or just how to recover in time for the Friday game?
Yeah, so it was definitely a quick turnaround playing Wednesday and then getting kind of a rest and then playing Friday, but just kind of take it day by day and get some fuel in our bodies and rest and recovery and then go again the following day. So it's definitely taking it step by step.
Anything with your team that you're focusing on in practice specifically, trying to clean up or tweak from last week?
I'd say definitely cleaning up some of just continuing to play fast tempo throughout each quarter and some things on defense, but I think we played pretty solid overall, and just learning our matchups first out will be the main thing.
It seems a big part of your success so far this year has been the three-pointer. I was just wondering what it was like this off season and then even into this fall, just keeping your shot sharp. But I know there were a lot of times it was not always easy to find a hoop over this last year.
Yeah, definitely. It was kind of tough to find a gym to get shots up, but once we were back on campus, we made sure to get in the gym as much as possible, use the shooting gun, and like get in with other teammates and push each other. So that definitely helped.
How important was it to have the practices at McPhee when it comes to shooting, just to kind of get the sight lines down and the different feel before playing a game there?
Yeah, it was definitely important because we're used to shooting in Zorn, but McPhee is awesome as well. It's a nice court and we like it. So we're just grateful we get to use the facilities. So
I know. I mean, I've been covering games this whole school year, but the high school stuff has had parents there. So even compared to that, I thought that the atmosphere was strange being in there without any fans. I guess from your perspective, what was it like? I mean, it's just such a muted atmosphere compared to what you guys are used to.
Yeah, it's definitely an adjustment, but I think that the bench has been doing an awesome job at keeping the energy and keeping it loud in the gym. So also a lot of people stream online, which has been awesome to hear. And that just makes it even more fun too.
Did it make a difference?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jack. Did it make a difference on the road without fans? Did it help you guys at all?
I'd say there wasn't too much of a difference that I noticed, but a lot of that comes from, I think, the bench. I think they really just, their energy, it's awesome. It keeps us going, and we just kind of feed off that during the game.
I've got one more question about just your start personally. I mean, with you obviously get a really big opportunity as a freshman to kind of step in right away.
Mm-hmm.
How valuable is that experience when you're looking at this year and I guess the next 2 years going forward, that you really got really good playing time pretty quickly?
Yeah, it definitely has helped me a lot from the transition from high school to college, getting that experience so early on. It's definitely built my confidence to where it is now, and it's translated to this year. So I think that was definitely a major aspect of how I'm playing now.
I guess all the questions that I had. I don't know, Nick, you got any more? Awesome.
I think I'm good.
All right, well, thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jessie.
Yeah. Coach, no? Thank you.
We'll see you in a little bit, okay? All right.
Coach, how are you?
Everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, obviously, it seems like a pretty good start for you guys this first week. I'm guessing the mood is high.
It's Jessie described it really well. I think there's a lot of joy for the players to be able to play right now, and it really kind of takes you. Last week kind of brought you back to what it's about. A lot of joy in being able to play and compete. I think it was nice for the players to be able to play against somebody different. Honestly, you go 50 practices and you play against each other, and it's hard to gauge where you think your team is at, even for the players. So considering everything and moving to a different facility and 50 practices, and overall, I mean, I was very pleased with what we did last week.
Actually, we just finished off with Jessie. I mean, it seems like she's taken a really big step this year. Can you kind of talk a little bit about what she's meant these first 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, I heard one of the questions that you asked about. For her, so much of it was the experience that she had as a freshman last year. You look through the league in the WIC, it's very rare to see freshman starters, first of all, and then you throw in a freshman starter at the point guard. We have a pretty complex system that we run, and so it's not easy for a freshman to take over, especially with the pace that we play. And I felt like Jessie's development last year, once we started conference play, elevated us and got us back to where we needed to be in that conference tournament championship game. We started slow at the beginning of the season, but there were many factors I think that came into us evolving, and Jessie was one of them. But I definitely had my eye on the future at the same time of her helping us win last year, but also really kind of taking over as a sophomore, especially with the graduation of Anna Grasskamp and Hallie Hepner. She's really taken that on her shoulders, and such a coachable, positive person and player. She's a sponge. She just always wants to get better. She'll do whatever you ask her to do. And obviously a 5'10" point guard, I'll take that any day. I like big point guards, and she just has the advantage of being able to see over the defenses a lot of times. And obviously she's going to see a lot of different defenses this year, and she's adapted well.
I'm guessing you must have seen, a lot of poise just to have that confidence to hand her the keys last year. That doesn't come around very often, I guess, just that level of ability at that young an age.
Especially handing over the keys to a team last year that had a lot of experience and a lot of upperclassmen. It's hard as a freshman to run the point guard when you're playing with such seasoned seniors. And she did a great job. I credit also Caitlin Morgan for that, and the fact that they both kind of took that role together. Jessie obviously was our starter, but Caitlin really mentored her and then came in and also gave us minutes where that's what we're doing this year. We're kind of combining the two of them. And so Caitlin doesn't get as much credit as she should receive sometimes just because she's gone through injuries. And in the meantime, while she's been injured, she's mentored someone like Jessie. So you have a second coach who a lot of times is helping that point guard adjust. But when I recruited Jessie, this is what we thought. This is what we wanted. This was the plan, was that she'd be able to play when she was a freshman by the sophomore, be one of the best players in the league, no question.
Yeah, I think she's shooting twice as many 3-pointers a game as she did last year. I mean,
Yep.
she's like she's not shying away from the chance.
No, and I think she's got a different role in the offense this year. I mean, last year, when you have Hallie Hepner and Anna Graskamp, a lot of the touches went to those two, rightly so, as seniors. But also, for Jessie, I think she snuck up on people last year a little bit towards the end of the year. And that also balanced us out a little bit more and got us back to that championship game. And Jessie comes from a great program in Rochester. She's used to winning. Her older sister played at Arizona State. Just a family that has that kind of history. And I think it really helped Jessie to have her older sister who played at a really high level, and she was able to watch that before she got here as well. So it's just kind of been in the plan. And Jessie sometimes kind of makes it almost as seamless for her. She just was such a smooth player. But I give her a lot of credit for growing her game during a tough off season when it was hard to get shots up in the gym. And she's been playing like this since October 15th. She came into the season shooting it like the way she has. And so it's been really good to see her do that against outside competition.
Coach, what did she do to get those shots and keep her game at a high level when you guys weren't able to play anybody?
I think all the players would tell you that depending on, what gym was open at what point of the year and when you could get in to get those extra shots up, a lot of times the players were at home, last spring and still found ways to shoot at outdoor courts when the gyms weren't open. And I think all of my players did that and did a great job of it. But since we got back to school, the players have spent a lot of time in the gym on their own, just being able to maybe catch up a little bit just because there wasn't that gym access and things. And so looking at last week, especially because we play such a high tempo game, and I'm pushing to play even more high tempo, it's been important that they've been able to get a lot of extra shots up to keep their conditioning up so that we were able to start to play this way right away. There isn't any time, obviously, to build in this season. It is, you got to be able to do those things right away. And also it was nice to see with that short turnaround time that we could still shoot the ball really well the second game. That comes to play in all this as well as that Wednesday, Friday schedule. That second game, it's interesting to see how your legs are going to be and if you can shoot it as well. And I felt, especially in a tough place like playing at lacrosse, we shot just as well at lacrosse as we did at home. And so again, credit to the players. They're in the gym getting shots up all the time.
Is it nice to have some fresh game tape to study this week versus last week?
Yeah, absolutely. And Stout's off to a great start. Fun to watch them as well. And I think everybody's got a lot of new faces on their teams too. And so you do need that fresh game film because sometimes there's a player that you haven't had the opportunity to see yet. I think also to, like you said, not have to reflect back on last season and actually to see a team play now is super helpful for the scout. And I think our players did a great job of that last week too, just as far as how we're breaking the scout up. The cleanup day on Thursday, I personally really like as a coach and as a teacher, because we take Thursday to go back and to get better from Wednesday and then turn around and get a redo, which we don't usually get in this league. And so I really like that. And you can teach more by film. Thursday is more of a mental day where you can really focus on film and things. And so last week, as hectic as it was, just getting that schedule down, I think there's a lot of great things in it, and I'm enjoying it as a coach.
What will the key or keys be to beating Stout this week?
I think no matter who we play this year, it's going to be that we're able to establish the tempo that we want to play. I like our depth on our team. We've been able to go 2-3 deep at each position. We've been able to bring in a lot of our freshmen and get valuable minutes, and I want to grow that even more. But no question, our tempo is something that is very important. That tempo was probably a little bit higher at home than it was on the road against La Crosse, but I still felt like we pushed tempo. Rebounding is always going to be very important to us because that starts our transition game. And so defensive rebounding is something. Stout's great offensive rebounding team. That's going to be a focus for us this week so that we can push and run. And then the consistency in what we're doing in scoring and the balance, I really like as well. Obviously, Jessie got off to a great start, but Maisie Deal played extremely well. Katie Essen played extremely well. Tyra Betcher played extremely well, all in kind of different stat areas. And that's probably the difference in this year compared to last year, is that we had to rely so heavily on Grass and Hallie a lot of times. And this year, we've just got a lot of different people that we can look to, and probably a little bit less predictable, just because we can run. And so it's exciting to be able to build that right now and to continue to see where we can take that in the next couple of weeks.
When you're playing Stout, obviously, this is a bitter rivalry. Is this maybe the most noticeable it's going to be, that just there aren't fans? I mean, I'm guessing the atmosphere, even more than normal, will be different.
Yeah, and since the time that I've been here, that question about the rivalry, I don't consider it a bitter rivalry. I really don't. I think it's a great rivalry. Hannah came to my basketball camps as a kid. And so there's a history there between the two of us. She's just a great human. And so I've seen her when she was younger, when she played in high school. I was actually at a UW-GB NCAA tournament game to support when she was at the D1 level. And so I've known her for a long time. And so I don't describe it that way. I describe it as that we're really lucky to have this rivalry. Sure, the fans make a huge impact in our games, but I think what I've really been pleased with all the teams in the league right now is that there is definitely a gratitude that we're able to play right now. There's a respect amongst the coaches. There's a respect among the players, that we're doing this for all the right reasons right now, and we're making it work. And so the joy in competing, I think, is what's most important right now. I hear from our fans a ton. They're out there. They're watching us on the live stream. They have been tremendous as fans from a distance and supporting the players. And I know it's been hard for them, but they are making a difference in a different way. Jessie said it, our bench has been awesome. When I watch the game film a lot of times and I look at our bench, I just kind of have to smile a little bit, because they've brought the energy that a lot of times our fans brought for us. So it's different, but it's still great. And that's what we're doing this year. That's what we're focusing on.
Coach, I think I'm good, and the lights just turned off on me. So.
Uh-oh. That means you probably are supposed to wrap it up, right?
Yeah.
I think Hovind had a question for you, Tanya.
Okay.
Maybe he's not on there. Nick, did you still have that question? Have a question? Hovind? Oh. Jack had trouble with the hockey one. He kept cutting out, so I think he might have froze. Hold on.
Okay, he looks like he's trying to reconnect. There he is.
There he is.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Sorry about that. It's office Wi-Fi. Very, very bad.
No worries.
I just had one more, I think one or two more questions. I know you guys don't really want to talk about the NCAA tournament news too much, but I guess mentality-wise for the games that are going to happen here, I guess what's kind of your the way you look at these games and kind of the goals that you guys have set now?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you, as a coach and as a teacher, this is my 26th year doing this as a coach and as an educator. Your focus all the time is on your players, on growth, on teaching, on especially this year, making those 2 hours the best 2 hours of the day. That's what we're doing. We're fortunate to be able to have a conference tournament, and there's going to be a champion in that conference tournament. So you bet, game on. We want to be the #1 seed in our pod, and we want to have an opportunity to compete at the end of the year, and we'll take whatever is there. So that's our focus. And I really have to credit our players with, and you have to think about these college players right now and what they've had to do and adapt and get through. And we just pivot as a group. Whatever it is, we're just going to keep it going and be positive. There is a lot of love on our team. And I have to be honest, you always hear from the coaches, this group and my team and all that kind of stuff. Authentically, I am saying this group is special. There is a ton of joy in their teammates, in the organization, in the university. That is something we're just feeding off of. So we're not looking backwards. We're just moving forward. That's what we're always trying to do.
And my last question is on the series. I know it said that you thought it was going to be interesting to have these back-to-back games against the same team at the start.
You may have to rejoin us again. This happened at hockey. The Wi-Fi.
There's a lot of these split. So for you guys to get 2 wins here, I'm guessing that's a lot.
Jack, you cut out for part of that question. Can you repeat that? Okay, Jack, I only heard like part of that question.
I'm never doing another one of these Zooms from my office again. I'll tell you. I was just asking, I know you were intrigued by the series style. It seems like a lot of these series end up being splits, both in the men's and women's. I'm guessing getting two wins is huge in this kind of setup.
Absolutely. I mean, if you just think about how crazy last week was, I mean, we're getting used to playing in McPhee, no fans, just, changes every single day, getting used to traveling and how different that is. You just have to say, hey, I mean, that's great that we got 2 wins last week. And I personally, now that I've been through this for the week, I really kind of like it. I like the 2 days of prep, play a team, Thursday cleanup, lots of film, goals on what you want to do better the second time around. It's really nice for the players actually on Saturdays to be able to have a time to come in the gym and just get shots up and just kind of wind it down at the end of the week. And so I like it. I think the players like it as well. When I played in the MIC back in the day, we played Monday, Wednesday, Saturday sometimes once we got into the MIC. And I remember loving that as a player, but I'm sure that the coaches didn't because there was such short turnaround time with different opponents, where at least it's short turnaround time with the same opponent. And so it's really a lot more cleanup and those sorts of things. And so I think there's something to be said about the schedule. I like it a lot.
Do you think we could see a schedule like this moving forward post-pandemic?
I haven't even thought about that, to tell you the truth. So much changes all the time that we'll just have to see. I know that, we've done the double header schedule in the past. We've done some of that. There's been some different things that we've tried. Not sure, but I do know that, like, looking back on the week last week, the only way that would have all gotten pulled off would have been for people like Jill and Nick and Robin Baker and Dan Schumacher and Amanda Hopkins. You have no idea the amount of time that it takes to try to pull off what we did last week, along with other events, and it's been crazy. So that's where I guess, again, to your question, I try to focus on what is now. It's just kind of each day you reload and you change and you keep on going. And so for the time being, I think this is going to be an enjoyable rest of the month and into early March.
I think that's all the questions before I get kicked off the Zoom again.
I'm good as well, Jill.
I'll quickly ask a question.
Okay, Nick.
Tanya, this was the first time since 2015, correct me if I'm wrong, having a regular season sweep against lacrosse. Have those games between you and lacrosse kind of been once a circle on the calendar?
I think the way that we beat them in the playoff game last year at La Crosse, probably one of the more emotional games that I've been involved in, and great games. I mean, they hit a 3, we answered with a 3, both coaches advanced. It was just crazy. And so that game had a lot of build up to it. And I think the sweep against La Crosse this year, playing at La Crosse is not an easy place to play. But I also will say that I've got a really nice mix of players that have been there now and playing 3 games against La Crosse last year. They knew the personnel, they knew what it was like to play there. This team has a really nice mix of veterans, really good new players, some transfers that are really helping us. And so it's got a really nice combination of things. And so I think going into the season, people thought that we were really going to be young, which we could have potentially been. And just this mix seems to be the right mix. And so I don't think that this team is playing as young. And I think that's the key to being able to start off 2-0, to be honest, is that we've been able to play a lot of our younger, really good players, but we've got great veterans that are showing a lot of leadership right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it.
Yep. Good luck Wednesday.
Thank you.